So there were a few different things we needed to think about when we were deciding how we wanted to improve the stack depth of our trunks. So originally you could only stack one gas can and one toolkit in a trunk, plus one default stack of something like C4. So the default stack of C4 is actually three. And so normally you could only keep three in there, but now you can keep up to six. And so you can, stack them four deep like I've got here. The default stack at the time, a long time ago, was 30. Now it's 40 ammo, but you can actually stick 80 in there now. And so the question is, why did we decide that doubling was what we were going to do? And it's actually a pretty simple answer. Lucy was looking into this and looking at all the different options, and she outlined several different ways that we could approach this. But I think one of the reasons why she landed on doubling was because it's something we could tweak in one place. If we had decided that what we had to do was come up with a different stack depth for every single item, like say, okay, well, you can keep 5 gas cans in here, but you can only keep 3 toolkits, and you can keep 90 C4 charges and, 130 shotgun shells or something like that. What that would mean is we would have to go through every item in the game individually, and we'd have to, add a piece of data to every single one of them, and we would have to make our choices about every single one of those items and hopefully keep them in a central spreadsheet somewhere, so the next time we add an item, we've got a reference point for figuring out what its stack depth should be in a vehicle. And then we would probably miss some items. We would get around, then we would get a lot of reports back from players saying, hey, why doesn't this one stack as deep as it should? And it would be just this enormous headache, and it would take a lot of time away from other things we could work on. And so even though there are advantages you can imagine from that approach, there's also a huge disadvantage of it's more difficult for us to maintain, which means it's either going to go in with less attention to detail, or we're gonna miss things and make mistakes, or we're gonna get it all right, but it's gonna take so much time that we're gonna not do something else. And so what she chose instead was a single buff that we would apply kind of secretly in the background that basically doubles your vehicle stack size, your stack size in vehicle trunks for every item in the game. So across the board, you get a nice improvement. And things like first aid kits, gas cans, and toolkits, actually, because they could only stack 1 deep before, the fact that you can stack 2 now feels really significant, and it's enough of a bonus, it's enough of a boost that you really can feel the difference. But that's as far as it goes. It doesn't go any farther, and most things don't stack up to 3 digits, and we don't get sort of the added complication of just some just amazingly huge numbers. I guess pyro launcher ammo would get up into that range, but not very many things would. And so that was sort of the reasoning behind it. And I really, that's something that I definitely was completely on board for. When I heard her pitch for just doubling it, I thought that was absolutely the right move. And so yeah, lots of credit to Lucy, I think, for making the right choice there. The reason I launched into this was because I was getting a lot of positive comments in the chat from players who were saying that they really, really liked this change, and they thought that it was a huge bonus to the game. And so yeah, so lots of credit to Lucy for having gotten that right, and for really thinking it through. And that's a lot of what the job of a systems designer is to take a problem like that and not just sort of make up a cute solution, but really think through all of the possible solutions and their trade-offs, and then choose something that's actually going to not necessarily always be the thing that is the most fun in the moment for that one feature, but also think about the bigger picture and how the choices you make about one system will affect all the others. Now that you can carry more in your trunk, you can take fewer supply runs. What effect does that have? You have to think through all of that stuff. And so a very careful systems designer is not just sort of coming up with, oh, the players will love this. Oh, this will be fun. It's a lot of, sort of very sort of complex and wide-reaching sort of thinking of simulating in your head what the game is going to be like when you make a change. A change in one place will ripple out and have a lot of effects in other places. And and a good systems designer thinks through all of that stuff and thinks through multiple options and compares the trade-offs and then finds the thing that hopefully has the broadest positive effect on the game. While still, and in some cases, is also just a delightful little thing that people will enjoy in the moment as well. And balancing all of those different concerns at the same time can be really hard. But I think we got some good folks on this team who are very good at doing it.